Glenn Lawrence. GL. What's going
Yo.
on, buddy? What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. This is this is live. We haven't done a live one yet.
The first live one, brother.
Yeah, this is the first live Trident episode. And this is crazy, but it's cool. I tried to reach out to Phil to see if he could come on last minute.
Good.
Heard back from him. But
nice.
This is a good topic.
Well, let me ask you something,
Yeah.
I'm not in the business, but seems to me that if I just sit back and I'm the kind of guy that likes to zoom out and see the big picture kind of and just enjoy myself. Seems to me, GL, that if I look back and I look around me, I just think women are the greatest thing since sliced bread, man. Even better than sliced bread because they do the bread slicing for me. And so how cool is that? And they toast it and they butter both sides of that bread for me. So I have buns that are nice and sweet and sticky. And I just love that.
And you can see them everywhere. Everywhere.
Sweet, sticky buns. How nice. And that brings me to my next point. I don't see we have too many live listeners. We'll see how far we go before we get smashed with the hammer. But it seems to me that all women, as soon as they're old enough to go to the store, they're old enough to get bread. And they sell sex.
Well, yeah. I've seen literally 12-year-olds and teenagers, selling sex. I mean, women, if you wouldn't look at if anything a woman could sell, they could sell sex better than anybody else. Okay, they can't create anything else. They don't have the history of showing that they could muster something that doesn't have to do with sexuality.
Well, let's back up and make sure we're really clear here. We're not saying that 12-year-olds are selling sex or
no, we're not saying that 12-year-olds are selling sex, but they're selling sex to even 12-year-olds now.
How about sex appeal? Right?
Sure, but it's still sex to the degree.
Yes. And I think that it's kind of a natural occurrence, Women have agency, and that agency is the ability to create children, and that is sex. And it is so apparent that that is the leverage that they have, and it burns hot, and it burns fast, and it burns young.
But it's that's the sad thing, right? For them, it's like they literally get 15 minutes of fame. In all reality, if you think about it, because they can't continue selling that same item after a while because it gets discontinued and it hits an expiration date.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's like you better get it while it's hot if you're going to go that route, make your money while you can, and then cash out. But see, there's a risk to that, right? If you go down that road, then you're less likely to find somebody to invest in you in the long run, right?
Yeah, well, I could see that. And what I want to talk about tonight is, that I think that, well, it seems to me that all the beautiful women out there and the young women that are just becoming full women are fully aware at the base level of their sexuality. And they're advertising it. And the tools they've been given to advertise this sexuality are so prevalent and so large. Thank the Lord, and they're not even aware of their ability to advertise this. And
no, they know that they know their ability. Social media has shown them their ability.
I think they know it at an intrinsic level, but they're unwilling to just admit to it.
Well, admitting to it would actually show intention. Right.
Yes, I think we need plausible deniability. And when we're talking game and things like that, plausible deniability is part of discretion, you see, and that's really important. And I could imagine having this conversation in mixed company in which we would say that all women do sell sex, and we'd be told, no, they don't. They absolutely do not at all.
They do, and
to some degree in all arenas because they are capable. GL,
Oh, they are. They are. And we see that even in our celebrities, right? Even our celebrities do that. I mean, just think about, hold on, I got the perfect picture here, right? You know, and it cracks me up every time I think of this. Actually, I have the whole clip here. Let me just do this.
Yeah, put it up, man. No worries.
Is it okay to wear this if you're married? Some people say yeah.
All right, so 1 second. Let me stop sharing this screen real quick, and I'll throw this other one up. Video file. There it is. Okay, so
is it okay to wear this if you're married?
You guys
Some
remember
people
this?
say yeah.
I feel like the people that were saying this is embarrassing to married women with kids were probably married women with kids who don't look like this.
Exactly.
They're a little jelly out here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, she does. She is setting the standard. Okay. She is the
Standard.
prototype. You do not get to tell married women with kids what they do with their money or their bodies.
Well, then, ladies, tell us this. Why do you guys react like this when we look?
see how mad she got?
But wait a minute.
Well. I want to see that dress again.
Oh man,
Yeah.
you want that dress again?
Yeah, so that brings up something interesting.
Because I mean, this is but
She's
here's
definitely old enough to go to the store.
well, this is
People that were saying this is
Sierra,
embarrassing
right?
to married women with
this is
So, yeah.
Sierra. This is Sierra. This is
I don't know who
Russell
she is.
Wilson's wife, right? She is Russell Wilson's wife, the quarterback of the Denver Broncos now. He was the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And what's crazy here about all this is that Russell Wilson is a well-known, Christian. He was a church boy. Like that's what they paint him as. And he's big in his community, big in his church thing. And there's literally a picture of her and him praying next to the altar, and then literally next to this.
So
And
it's
like-
hypocritical. If it wasn't for that case,
But what
you know me. I mean, come on. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. But
my
what I'm getting
ancestors
at,
come from Northern Europe. We could care less about nudity. It's not a problem. However, in that context, that's pretty.
well,
pretty
here's the
hypocritical.
crazy thing: is like she's married and she's still selling sex. It's like you would think that once they got off the market, once they got off
God, no.
the
No,
cock
no, no.
carousel, right, that they would stop selling this item.
No, they just don't sell to their husband anymore, Glenn. Don't you understand?
That's exactly what it is.
They have to double down on the outside advertising agency and the internal employee relations is just kind of shelved for the moment.
It's like there's no end to it, right? It's like you could think that okay, maybe while they're single and they're trying to find a guy, they're going to market themselves this way, or maybe if they're going to go down a certain career, they're going to push their sexuality. Okay, that's understandable, but you would think that okay, after they get into a relationship or they're married or they're happy, whatever, they found the one, that they will then stop selling the goodies.
Right. There's a time and place.
Yeah.
And there is a time and place for a dress like that.
Yeah, it's just at the AVN Awards or at a swingers party.
Well, right, at a social event that her husband's with her, and there's a compliment to him, whatever that might be. But in public, she must be selling something else. No, she's absolutely selling her sex. She's got a great body. She's doing what she wants to do there. I don't agree with the lady that is kind of upset at other people for some reason about her setting some sort of an example.
Well, she's saying
maybe she was setting an example of fitness, right? Is that what she was trying to say?
Well, she was saying that people criticizing her for wearing that dress don't have grounds to say that Sierra is setting the standard for what married women should, be comfortable with wearing or how they should present themselves if they want to. and how they should look. If they want to look sexy, they can look sexy and wear that, no problem.
I totally get it now. Okay, I was a little bit lost. Elegance is a big deal, and elegance, modesty, and deference to her husband is an intensely feminine trait and quality. So I do get that now, and they're way off base on that, of course. But if the guy's going to tolerate it, hey, man. If you want to have that sort of advertisement at home, go for it. But you got to keep in mind that comes with a whole host of issues, because when she goes to the store, what's she going to get? Bread.
A lot of it.
Now let me ask you this. I saw the video that brought up something really interesting that we got to talk about if we're going to talk about women selling sex, because they're all at all times 24/7. Sorry. Even when they're married, they're selling sex, Glenn. It might not be to their husband, but their work husband, their girlfriends, when they do girlfriends night out, they can't help it. It's the nature of the beast. And part of that nature, Glenn, is us men. And when I saw the video of the girl getting mad because the guy was looking, I presume he was looking at a female body. This is nature. It's really a force of nature and cannot be stopped. And to get mad at something, that's like getting mad at the wind. What did they say? Us old guys used to stand on mountains and scream at the clouds. That's essentially what you're doing if you're getting mad at a guy for looking at a beautiful woman or her body.
So this is what
I think us guys are extremely respectful, because I'm fortunate enough to be married to a woman that expects me, if I did not even look at those miraculous milk delivery devices and the incredible, the self-mobilized walking womb, she would think there was something wrong with me if I wasn't at least doing my best to do a technical analysis on the fly. And if I wasn't, I wouldn't be normal. Now, out of respect for her in public and those that might be around us, I ever so politely wear mirrored sunglasses in order to protect her friends from my inquisitive and analytical gaze that might pop up.
I mean,
these don't count because you can see my eyeballs. I really don't care.
But you're doing it from a professional and healthy standpoint. As a former trainer to competitors, you're only doing it from a height ratio body fat percentage calculation dynamic.
It's professional in every respect. How could you say anything other? I am a hysteria paroxysm therapist by profession, so why could you say anything like that? I have the highest professional standard, Glenn. So if I was to do that sort of body analysis, strictly be professional, and it shouldn't offend any female within, range of seeing my eyeballs. She would completely understand what's going on, and it's natural.
This is what cracks me up, though, right? At one hand, you got women praising, this type of outfit, wardrobe, saying that, they're free to wear this. Nobody's going to tell them that they can't wear this. Great. But then the same women that are championing this, behavior are the same women complaining about their husbands or their boyfriends when their boyfriends happen to notice some skin of another female walking by. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then you get mad. It's like, well, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways, ladies. Either you are cool with, the outfit and the attire, then what comes with that is the looks that get attracted to it. Okay. Because we live in a, look, we're guys. Guys are very visual. We see a piece of flesh that's normally covered, that's not covered, exposed. We're going to look. We're just going to make sure that we're not seeing things.
We have to.
Yeah.
You know what's something really interesting, though? In my former biker life, I'd been to several day-long events where everybody was nude. And for the first few hours, everybody's looking and kind of awkward. Let me tell you something.
Was this like back in the good old days, when you guys were doing
we're all hairy. Yeah, exactly. We did something called the hot dog bite for the ladies, of course. But after a while, it's kind of all the same. It does. You stop looking. It's really a product of the mystery that draws us into that and keeps us so interested. It's really bizarre. You still want to look, but it loses some of its allure.
It loses its like luster, right?
Yeah.
It loses its like, oh my God. It's like
the initial excitement goes away. You still want to do it because you don't want to miss anything in your analysis, but just in case,
Yeah. And it's like what's crazy is like, okay, there's this, if you looked at back in the last few years, let's just go 5-10 years. Let's go 5 years. How much more has sex been a driver when it comes to marketing for or businesses and even independent businesses, as in prostitution on the internet? Like it has that business, selling sex has risen. There have been push to decriminalize prostitution across the United States. I think even New York.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either.
Honestly, I really don't have a problem with it.
I think essentially that's what OnlyFans is now, but at an interesting, at an intellectual level, so to speak, at a place where men are extremely vulnerable to
I think
their own sexual drives and desires to be wanted by a woman, and it's the same thing without the physical act.
Well, I think if they legalized it across the United States,
that would die. Yeah,
OnlyFans would close up.
I agree.
Okay, because it's like, why could I could pay my subscription to check this girl out, or I could save that money and use it to pay this girl to actually touch me. You know what I mean? It's
like we're so prudish. You can go and get an incredibly amazing sports massage.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But you could pay a beautiful woman to give you that same sports massage, and it's great. But you couldn't do that if she wanted to have sex with you. You couldn't pay
exactly. Like, and it's
or she couldn't pay me in case she wanted me to give her, an amazing hysteria proxim satisfaction, or to relieve some of that depression and anxiety, as we did over 150 years ago.
Yeah,
and solve the depressive problem that women were having at the time.
But what's crazy is like they push to decriminalize prostitution, but not soliciting. Soliciting would still be a crime.
What do you mean?
So, like, if you saw a hooker on the street if you asked her if she's working, and that right there, soliciting, that would be the crime. But her actually engaging in prostitution would not be the crime. That's what the New York law was trying to be passing like a couple years ago.
So I've traveled.
Yeah.
I've traveled to Europe where prostitution is legal. And I've never seen a streetwalker in the areas I went that were absolutely legal. And I was quite young, actually.
Well, because they have them in facilities, they're not out there like that, marketing like that. You know where they are. You just go to their building.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't what you think. It wasn't run rampant, but it was kind of. Well, it's that, and nudity was kind of strange, and that brings up the whole bathroom issue too. I remember when I was in Switzerland at 16, I went to this resort, and it was just one bathroom for men and women. Now they had private stalls. Whoop-de-doo-dah-day, and they had private shower doors, but in the central locker room stuff is like men and women, and only us Americans got our tit in a ringer,
Well, there's this place in Hollywood, and I worked there when I was working with the live performance of Rock of Ages. I was an immersive actor there. So I was part of the opening of the show, before the show starts and during intermission. I was a live immersive actor, and their bathroom literally was both men and women. Like you could literally go, it was separated, but there was no door. So soon as you open the main door to go in towards the bathroom, you see all the women's stalls that don't have doors, right? They just have the dividers, but no door. So
Yeah.
like you walk right in there and you see a girl doing her business, and they have urinals in both, so you could literally go to either one if you wanted to relieve yourself. So it was a co-ed bathroom, and that was like the first time outside of being out of this country that I saw that. And I was like, I walked right out because I opened the door and I just see this girl.
You weren't used to it, yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. She's like, exposed. I walked right. I'm like, is there another bathroom? Like, no, you can go in there. I'm like, she's doing some things in there. I'll just leave her be. I'll wait till she's done.
Yeah. No, the ones I had experienced at the resorts there in Switzerland, they were actually pretty private. People were there and you could see them walking back and forth. There was obviously open shower, and then they had the closures too, where you couldn't really see anything. And there were people walking back and forth, and you didn't really see too much bottom nudity because people would wrap it. But topless was completely too bad, so sad. And
I mean, they have topless
families were
out
in
there.
And it was us American students that were in there with our eyes this huge, acting like there was giant problems,
So maybe is it we live in a prude country? Is it our sense of the sexuality is too prude, or is it that it could be the opposite, that it's other people are so desensitized to it that I don't know. I mean,
I don't know, maybe desensitized, but maybe had a cultural indifference only to
maybe it wasn't as sexualized.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I think men are still men. They're still going to check it out. But boy, we sure add an air to mystery and make it it's like the little kid that says, don't do this. And they look around and say, I'm going to go do it. Let me get into those cigarettes or whatever, you tell them not to do it. And man, they want to know what the mystery is, right? There's some of that, but even in Europe, I mean, women sell sex. I think they're just more comfortable with acknowledging the fact that they sell it, where we would like to hide it here. Let me bring this up.
They have no problem with it, right? They have no shame in their game. And they're not the ones that are saying, like, they're not the girls at the gym that are, dressing super sexy, right? And then making their own little TikTok video. Oh my God, he's so creeped out, creeping me out.
We're going to overdo it, buddy. We are going to overdo it for sure.
Because at least the girls over there in Europe, they know what they're doing and they have no problem doing it. And they're like, yeah, I'm doing this. At least over here, they're like, I'm not trying to draw attention. I look like this for myself. I dress this way for me. Yeah. Bitch, please.
Well, okay. You know what? Dress for you, but we know that is definitely to sell the sex. I mean, this is on Instagram page, which is women's empowerment. And look at the white dress, purity's being offered, right? Pretty cool. Here we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, is he really all that? Or did I romanticize him too? Putting lipstick on in the mirror, full makeup. Interesting. Okay. And sultry sexy. Oh, what is this here? If it doesn't bring me joy, money, or orgasms, or shall we say hysteria paroxysms, I definitely don't want it. Could we just be honest and say advertising?
Yeah.
Advertising. I mean, if you just looked at it from there to there, doesn't that look like something from the rear? I mean, come on, man. That's advertising. Take a look, they say. And least you think that Americans, as prude as we are, aren't rather weird, perverted, strange, creepy SOBs, even our girls and men. Lest I remind you, we start at an extremely early age.
That is disgusting. I still
look at this.
Oh my God.
Look at this. Are we not even selling sex at the earliest of ages?
Like, they look like miniature, like short people, like, little people, just littler.
Look at this. I don't have an issue, like I said, with nudity, but this is selling sex.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's disgusting. It really is. I mean, it's like, how does a toddler in a bikini
I dress
Not
like this
sales
for
sex.
myself.
Yeah, right.
This is not the guys. This is not the dads doing it, by the way.
No, but see, the dads are just as guilty because they're not, putting their foot down and saying, no, you're not going to pimp my daughter out there on stage for a child sex, circus.
Now wait a minute. It's definitely selling titillation at minimum at an early age. Now, I will acknowledge that there are some dress up and some fun. I did that to be sensational, of course, but that could be handled in such a fashion that wouldn't be super bad. I could see some of that, and it'd be enjoyable. Those are awful young girls, but as they get older, they want to be women. They want to be women, and they absolutely want to be able to sell their sex. It is their agency. And this has to be extremely fun for them. You could tell.
Oh, absolutely.
You can
But
absolutely
it's also the like to their detriment too, though, right?
It could be if it wasn't couched and prefaced in the right way by a strong, cohesive parental unit, such as a father and a mother that framed it in such a way. Yes, you're a beautiful young girl. It's for this event. This is what we do. Yes, we know what it's about, and we keep it as such. And then when we socially behave, we teach them some restraint and some elegance. But it's kind of over the top. If you just look at those pictures, you can read a lot into it. But I did that just because, as a society, we certainly encourage the females to sell their sex.
Oh yeah, and it's what's interesting here, right? It's like this. This is what they, as you pointed out, from as a little girl, they always wanted to be a woman. And part of that drive to be a woman is the benefits of what womanhood offers.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you see younger girls always try to put makeup on a little too early to try to, make themselves look more mature or older than they are,
and the tough question is, why would they do that?
Well, they do that because I think realistically, they want to look like a 23-year-old because they know the 23 age that's the guy's primary,
because of the power that they wield, since they are so good with their ability to subcommunicate and observe social connections and how social power is wielded, they might want to wield that for themselves.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like they see how the boys react to the hot girls in the magazines, or the music videos, and they're like, okay, I want the attention that girl's getting too. So I'm going to, mirror that image. Okay. And it's like, it's like too young, too fast type of thing. And I don't think a lot of girls understand what happens until it's too late. But I do want to bring this up. Like, have you noticed? And there's a study out there that points out that some of the most beautiful women that you'll see have the lowest body counts. Now, they may still sell sexuality, but they are actually the least to actually engage. But it's the average, the 5s to,
well, that's the most, that is the best way to manipulate femininity, is to have some modesty and sexual restraint, yet still have that undercurrent of high level of sexual energy. Yeah, that's probably extremely attractive to men, and that's probably the ultimate in a woman's ability to wield her sexual power in order to secure.
Because she knows that once she gives that up too much, right? Once it's no longer a rarity and a lot of guys have it, it becomes less valuable. And I noticed that some of the most hottest girls that I know tend to be the most least sexually, promiscuous. Now they may dress provocatively, but acting wise, they don't act on it very much. They have lower bodies than like the average girls that I know that will, let you like stick things in their all over the place, and just because, like, it seems to be like the uglier girls tend to be more like sexually promiscuous than like the really, really hot girls, because they have to compete with that girl's level of hotness. So they're going to do the things that hot girl is not ready to do quite yet.
Is that your personal experience?
There's a study out there, but also that it is my personal experience and opinion as well. But I saw a study like 2 months ago that kind of that supported that, and I was talking to Coco about it too before, and I think that's when I came across that article. But it was interesting.
Not my experience at all, ever. But
really,
that's why I asked. No. Mm-mm.
So all the hot girls are all the whores that you knew?
No, it's that every single one of them had all the same capabilities built in.
Oh yeah, no, they all do. But I'm saying
and it was just the level to which they concealed it.
Well, I think it's also a level of threshold, and because when you're that hot, right, you got all these guys fawning over you.
I find that there's just as much insecurity.
I think they just more selective in who they give it to. But the girl that's not as attractive, she's going to be more willing to give it to more people because she wants that attention that she can't naturally gain like the hot girl does. So she tries to one up her.
Maybe. I just haven't seen that in my experience in the circles that I ran. It kind of ran the gamut. It really didn't seem to matter. Sex was for they were advertising sex at every freaking level. And in some cases, the hottest ones, the reason that they weren't, I think they were willing to toss it around, but yeah, a lot of guys were a little bit insecure because of the beauty. And so the approaches weren't quite the same, interestingly. But then again, here I am in California with all the freaks and geeks. So who knows?
We're in the land of the freaks and geeks. That's for sure.
Exactly. Look at us as we're sitting here with our glasses and cuts on.
Dorks. But here's the thought though, right?
Yes, Jose, but did they really? Did they really?
Well, he brought up a good interesting point there.
Did they really?
The comment above that.
Still here.
Let's see that. It was what do you say? He says there was a bit of talk about the role religion that made relationships concrete. Nowadays, marriages are vaporware, but both parties understand that God is real. It becomes holy. Well, yeah, but that's because they understand that they're entering a covenant with God in their belief system, and that makes it more. It's like you divorcing your spouse at that point is not you're not sinning against your spouse. You're actually sinning against God. So it's like it has a little bit more weight carried to it.
Yeah,
in that perspective.
Love Jose, but he doesn't know his history. The Christians were not dominated. They volunteered to be Christians, or the Vikings volunteered to be Christians.
Yeah, then they use that to like manipulate.
The only ones that didn't were the Yelms Vikings. They fought back, but it was a small tribe. Basically, the King of Norway, they volunteered to be Christians, so they weren't dominated by Christians. They ruled wherever they're at, and they turned it over and decided to become Christians. The Normans started with it. Normans were the Northmen that came from Scandinavia. So there you go. You're right. The results are not debatable. It is basic history. The Vikings decided to become Christian.
Maybe they just saw the tell of the time. They're like, you know what?
They did. Charlemagne was a big deal in there too. He made allies, the Frisians, all that stuff. So absolutely.
So like, what is the problem with women selling sex? Is there really a problem with them being as sexually promiscuous and sexually, displaying their bodies or displaying themselves in a provocative way? What harm does it do?
I don't have any problem with it.
So, but at the same time, though, right?
Mhm.
We also use that as we call that a red flag as well.
Well,
Star Adams, you didn't miss much. We're just talking about, crazy women dressing naked. But
women sell sex all the time. It's their agency, and of course they do. Even the ones that are modest do. They do it in a different way.
they sell
Purity, elegance,
purity, yes.
modesty, and that's actually quite attractive to men of means.
Yeah,
so is the nudity and all that of regular men, but that's not the long game. That's the short game.
Yeah, it's like, if girls really want to be like the hot commodity right now, they would actually not stop selling their butthole and start selling like, baking tips and wearing an apron, like, because guys, the sexiness is so outplayed now. It's always done. It's like there's nothing new with that. It's not a rarity anymore. It's the normal thing now. Before it was like taboo and it rarely happened. Now it's just like everywhere. So what's not everywhere is modesty and baking and doing like normal traditional women stuff, right? That right there is that's the new sexy. Women start selling that shit, that's the new sexy. Think about all the influencers, right, that are doing that now. Like Allie just was doing a baking video not too long ago, and she had like hundreds of people just watching her bake, in her kitchen or whatever. It's like, really? It's like she's just doing a normal thing, but it's such a rarity. We don't see that, and people are like, oh.
When I was a kid, Julia Child had an amazing cooking show that all the women watched because she had tips that made their lives easier. It's just common sense, but I'll just set the record straight. I'm not a traditional. In many ways, I appreciate traditional things, but you don't have to be traditional to be feminine, although there are traditions that are quite feminine. And so I can appreciate those for sure. As far as women selling sex, of course they do. And they do inside marriage, outside marriage. They're always on. It has to be that way. Or we wouldn't have a species propagation for sure.
Well, that's why women have such a hard time with the question, like, will you get rid of your Instagram? Like every time that question's asked on Access Vegas or on Fresh and Fit, they're like appalled that you would even ask them that to even do such a thing, because that is their agents. You're asking them to stop selling their agency.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. And of course, most traditional women will say, I'm not for sale. Yet you're always for sale. Always, because you would like to have a good relationship with a man. How do you enter into it? You have to advertise your availability, number one. Number two, you have to advertise the value that you bring. And the very first entry point is your ability to produce offspring or have sex. That is the driving force amongst the majority of us that are heterosexual and human beings in general. After that, if you want to keep those relationships, that's where you need the skills that I outlined earlier in the femininity list on the dragon ship. Those aren't necessarily traditional skills. Those are behaviors and traits that span across tradition and non-tradition.
Yeah.
And if you ask a woman straight up and you ask her, tell me what the behaviors and traits of femininity are, she could feel it, but she has a hard time outlining it. That list took a long time to compile and a lot of interviews. Just like asking a woman to tell you what are the traits and behaviors of masculinity. Even men struggle with this, Glenn. Look at Chris Williams. He's got access to the brightest minds ever, and have him lay out masculinity when he was interviewing David Hammond. He really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit of a thought exercise to get past those emotions and the traditions. You'd know it when you see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
one of those.
I don't like things that people say, well, you'd know it when you see it. That's a big fucking cop out. You know, we got brains. We got these massive brains with neocortexes that can figure out the mysteries of the fucking universe. We can figure out a little bit about masculinity and femininity for sure.
Oh yeah. So Star, I got a question for you. You say you're not for sale though. Okay, great. Do you still have an Instagram account? And if your husband asked you to get rid of it, would you? And I really think, because I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see exactly what the average normal people would say, because we see what they see on Fresh and Fit, and that's, that could be heightened by cameras and heightened by, sensation of, being, out there in social media. Danny, you can always chat or send a real super chat on Thor's channel.
I'm actually live. This is the first time I'm live on the Trident.
So she says yes, she would.
Yeah.
It's face pics. Want to see? No, I'm good. I'm just saying, like, in social media has been the tool that women have now utilized to market themselves and keep their sexual, sexuality for sale. I mean, that's the main means of the selling of their sexuality. Yes, they do it.
Face is entirely, I mean, people, the way they take face pics and all that sells sexuality. Of course it does.
Oh yeah.
And
if you're biting on the lip,
guys, and I will even do this. While all women sell their sexuality, it's their agency. Guess what? Men are always willing to buy.
Absolutely.
We don't really sell our sexuality. We present or offer presence and willingness to buy that sexuality. When I say buy, it means our willingness to engage. If I engage and I use game, or I use conversation that leads to some passionate exchange about ideas and things like that, that is an exchange.
Yeah.
That is an exchange that could be considered, I will trade for this and you'll trade for that. And there's a benefit for you. And there's an exchange of value. And there you go. So an exchange of value is really, really good. You know what? I think when we started this stream, something's happened since Danny says he threw a super chat. Is that real, Danny?
I think it's a joke.
Is that a joke? Because
are you still on?
Yeah, everything got bounced because of one of our previews had a copyright claim, and so even the super chats got bounced.
Oh, that sucks.
So I don't know if that's the case or not. It's no big deal. Jose, the Viking kettlebell routine. How about the Christian Viking kettlebell routine, brother? Praise the Lord. And Odin too. That's a tough one, man. That's a hard one. Even it never gets easier, definitely.
Well, I mean, yes, I could see what you're saying, Star, that there is a fine line. Like, I think there's a line. The line is being attractive without trying to be sexy, or it's being sexy. Like, there's no in between. I really think it's either you're just naturally attractive and you're just photogenic and you're taking a picture that you just happen to look attractive in, right? Or it's like, I'm purposely taking this picture, looking this way, to be sexy, to put off more sexiness than natural, right? Or whatever. And so there's like doing it with intent and just not doing it with intent, right? There's Danny.
I had to turn it on. Doggone YouTube got mad at us for doing those previews, and they shut all my monetization off.
So I did bring up the question, like, what's the problem with it, right? What is the real problem with it? Now, I could say from a biblical worldview that there is a problem, right? And that would be because it would entice men to lust, right? And according to the Bible, lusting after a woman that's not your wife in that manner is committing adultery, according to Jesus. So that would be, from that worldview, why that would be a problem. Now, just from the regular the average person, religious or non-religious, why it's a problem. Well, I would say the only problem that it causes is for the other women whose husbands or mates find that attractive or find their attention drawn to that. There's a level of insecurity or dread that they feel if they don't feel like they measure up to her or are more attractive than her. And that's where the problem is, right? Did I lose you, Thor?
No, I just was trying to follow you. In Midgard, if a guy found a woman attractive and his wife was okay with it, that's totally cool. From a Viking perspective. Because he would just add to, the help at the home and the farm,
Yeah.
Adding additional labor resources is always a good thing.
So it's like, it only is a problem for everyone else but her, unless she's gaining attention from people she doesn't want, right?
Right.
So is it really more of a personal problem then for people and not so much a problem for society?
A personal problem? You mean in a woman being offended that somebody's interested in because they're advertising their sexuality?
Well, both. Like whether it's the wife that doesn't like that her husband's attention now has drawn to that, or the fact that the woman doesn't like that, I don't know, the nerd is like checking her out and, maybe salivating, with his jaw down,
You know what? I love Star. This is a good one, man. There will always be temptation for men, but it's up to the men to keep themselves in check. This is fantastic because the women advertise that constantly. I'm available. Here I am. Look at my beautiful face. You can look at Star's face. Look at, she's gorgeous. Is that face not a sultry face? Look, howdy.
Mm-hmm.
It's broadcasting sexuality at the extreme. Even though she may not think so, that is absolutely true.
It is. The way that she tilts her head.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Men keep themselves in check. Men will be men. The fact that men are 30% sexless right now says that women are actually keeping them in check. And really only the top men have the option to exercise their sexuality with nearly all the women. And it's interesting, because my experience in the circles that I ran, I didn't run into the same things you did with the women that were the most beautiful being the least amount of bodies. It was, at least in the circles I ran, there was plenty of sexuality that was advertised and available because a lot of those men are the right men. And when that happens, they definitely would turn the spigot on, so to speak, because they wanted to find.
Well, that's what I mean though. Like they're like, so in the industry that I work in, right? Like you could be, on a set with some of the most beautiful women out there, but they're not like fawning and they're not like trying to sell their sexuality. They're already getting the attention, and the attention that they're gaining, it's not from the people that they want it from. So they're not inclined to, as you said, turn the spigot on, so it's like, though that's why but the ones that are not as attractive, they turn the spigot on a lot more, to get more, attention.
Just haven't seen it, but that's cool. I want to comment on Star. Star, I'm going to pay you. Yes, you're pretty. She's selling a little bit of sex there, so I had to go ahead and pay for it with a compliment. And it's meaning, I mean it. It's from my heart.
So it's like, what is really the problem? Is there a problem with women selling sex?
No,
there's not. Because if women weren't selling sex, guys wouldn't be as interested in them, right?
Oh, this is a good one. She's scared. Did you want to hear the story about all the women in my life?
Oh, let's not. I don't think we have enough time for
They're
that.
scared shit. They were all scared shitless of me to begin with. And
I
guess
can see
what?
that.
They all still get along with each other and with me. So yeah, they all started out quite frightened, but sometimes that a little bit of that goes a long way. Thanks, Star. You're a good sport.
But I find what she said interesting though. Like, there'll always be temptation for men. It's up to the men as well to keep themselves in check. You're right. There is a level of personal accountability, but I always find it really interesting that women love
that
to throw
mean?
personal accountability.
What does that mean?
What, keep themselves in check?
What does that mean?
Maybe not to do something inappropriate if they are in a relationship or something. I don't know. Like, I guess that's defined by each individual.
How do we keep ourselves in check? Why would I? Fuck that. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to be polite. I'm not going to break any laws, but I'm not going to keep myself in check. I'm going for the gusto. What does that mean?
Let me tell you a story. I have a buddy, right? His name is Casper. He lives in Alaska. And he's friends with another friend of mine, BK. And BK, me and him have done a few films together. And one time BK introduced Casper to like this new girl that he was talking to or whatever. And the girl like reaches her hand out to shake his hand. And Casper just went and grabbed the boob and shook her boob. It's like, pleasure to meet you, because she had very massive titties and they were like low cut exposed. And he was like, she was like, oh, okay. And he got away with it. Like, she didn't freak out or anything like that. But it was just like, he's like, hey, you're showing them? I'm going for them. It's like, and it's like, well, that is frowned upon, although that's what you may want to do. But, I just find that story hilarious because I could see you doing that, Thor.
No, I wouldn't be that bold. I definitely take my cues and indicators of interest before any keynote goes on. I'm actually quite polite and use quite a bit of finesse and nuance when I'm socially interactive. You've seen it.
Oh yeah.
It's quite a bit different. I mean, but what's quite pleasurable? People enjoy the interaction, and I do too, because I genuinely actually enjoy people. So that's a big part of it. Now, Star's saying, well, if you're Christian and married, why are you surfing Instagram for ass? I don't know why anybody would surf Instagram.
Well, first of all, you don't have to surf Instagram for it. It literally is in the ad. It's in the feeds. It's like they throw it at you. You don't have to. That's the funny thing. Before, you used to have to look for these dirty sites and find them out there, But now there's advertising. Their advertisements are just as bad as what you see on like some, softcore adult sites. So it's just like, you don't have to look for it. It's already there.
Oh, Star's a preacher's daughter, so she's going to make a lot of assumptions. Sorry about that, Star.
Well, Star, I have a degree in religion too. So,
and even though you think you've known a lot of men like me, I'm sure that even a Glenn will say, yeah, probably never met a man like me.
No.
Only in the fact that I have a very private life that's very different. But that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Make the assumptions. That's what this show's all for. We love having you as a fan. Thank you for being here, darling. I appreciate you as a preacher's daughter. I want to hear more of what you have to say. So yeah, for sure. I know that there's a lot of thirsty men out there that aren't getting sex from their wives. So I put it this way: if they're on the Instagram and they're married and they're Christian, let me make some assumptions, and they're looking for ass, they should be allowed to get it because their wife has first right of refusal. And if they're not providing it, well, nothing wrong with moving on and getting it somewhere else. So,
well, it literally, if their wife is refusing them, they are technically sinning. If the wife is technically sinning. And I'm pretty sure Star could verify this because it's in 1 Corinthians 7, I think 15, where it says,
I know what that is, Cobra. Yeah, sure.
Due to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, each wife should have his own man, and they should not deny each other unless they are separating for a specific time devoted to prayer. But once that time is done, they are supposed to come back together to keep themselves so that they're not tempted by the devil. So technically that's the only way that a wife should be able to deny their husband. So if she's denying her husband in any other way, then she is sinning, or she is leading him, or she's opening the door to cause him to sin. If you really want to go down that route.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Jose, we're all humans except for me. Me? No. Mm-mm. Look here.
Don't use it as leverage.
Oh, what's the leverage? Preacher's daughter? Okay.
Is there really a problem, or
okay,
is it
buddy,
really
I'm
just
very comfortable.
a problem? Where's the problem at, right?
The problem with women always on for selling sex from the time they actually become sexually mature.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the program. It's in the firmware.
Yeah, so
it really is.
It's not something that you could deprogram out of them. I mean, I guess you could. Religion has been a buffer, right, for generations and years that kept women from selling sexuality as much as they are now, right? But we don't see that much as a factor anymore. So I think we're just at a point where there's less buffers.
Yeah, I think so too. I got a comment. All right, Jose, I was raised a Christian, but I am not a Christian. But thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for saying I'm doing God's work. No, GL, we have so much goddamn fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
like just bullshit it up, and you guys should see us when we're in Vegas. We have a hell of a fucking time.
Oh yeah,
it's the crew for sure, definitely, man. We rode our bikes out there in the worst freaking conditions last October.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again in October. That's for damn sure.
But we got to do it when it's warm,
Like I'll do it in June, July, August.
I got an open spot on the back of my bike, preacher's daughter. You want to head out there?
Oh, don't tell that. Don't say that. That's Savo's spot.
Oh, hey, easy now. There is discretion. We don't want the kid to get his feelings hurt.
He'll take it as a joke.
I know it. What a good kid.
So, but here, I guess here's the I guess the applicable advice, right? So, as you said, women are always on doing that. Just like how men are always on for sex, women are always on selling sex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
we're always buying.
Yeah, men will always be willing to buy, especially if their source of sexuality is closed for business to them, then they are more eager to buy, right? And women are always going to sell. Yeah. Because women need attention. Attention is gold in girl world.
Exactly.
So they're not going to stop it. And this is why I say, for the women that say they don't need men, we don't need men, blah, 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 blah. No, you do, because your OnlyFans would have no subscribers unless they were lesbians. If there was no men here. Okay. If men were, paying for your services, and you're hitting you with all those likes, you wouldn't be insta famous and making money off Instagram either. So no, you need men. You need men to be thirsty. Okay, because without their thirst, you have no worth.
Sellers and you have buyers.
Exactly.
And some of the buyers are in the position to buy everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
All right. Should we wrap this thing up? It's been at it for an hour.
Yeah. We should close.
Yeah. Let's thank everybody in the chat. Thank you for the really cool super chat. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. We tend to have really cool bitchin' previews, and Glenn puts them together and they're wonderful and they have a lot of popular music and stuff. But for some reason, YouTube really doesn't like that. And they shut down all the monetization on any channel that does it. So, we kind of have to work around that a little bit. So thank you very much and appreciate it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Star, you're a star by us and you're still pretty. So if you want that ride on the motorcycle. Now, I know I'm not quite old enough for you. I know you like the older guys and, 60's not quite up there to the type of man that you're really looking for as an older man, but that's all right. We sure appreciate you. Thank you for being so interactive on the Trident. We appreciate it. We're going to try to do this a couple more times for sure.
Absolutely.
Get a couple more fun topics to just have a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah. She's asking. Yes, he is. He's actually
Yes. Discretion is the better part of valor. So let's leave it at that.
I mean, you can hit him up in his DMs, guys. You don't have to hit him up in here. But you know what? No. So here's a question for the chat before we wrap it up. What topic do you guys want us to cover next? Like, I want you guys to put a topic in the chat that you guys want us to cover.
I think Danny wants us to cover an Odin horn.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Shall we do it?
Of course.
Danny, you get 2. Thank you, sir. We appreciate. Oh, we have a sound effect for the Trident. Did you know that? Here it is. Thank you, Danny. We really appreciate it.
You want us to cover meditation, Jose, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's an interesting one. I mean, that's not necessarily a Trident topic, but yeah, we could definitely throw that out there.
One of my lectures, I go over visualization, and that includes EMDR and meditation.
Yep.
And that'd be really kind of hard to do on YouTube, but we could give some basics, And shall I let the secret loose? I actually am a certified hypnotist too.
Yeah, but let's be clarified. Do you want to clarify what kind of hypnotist?
Yeah, I specialize seriously in habit formation, breaking, anxiety, and erotic hypnosis.
What was that last part?
Erotic hypnosis.
Okay, let's just get that straight.
Let's just put it this way: to enter into a trance or a flow state, it's the same thing. So you can work through a lot of issues and habits that way.
You know what, Danny? That is a topic, but that is more of a Glenn Lawrence presents, topic because
mother.
Yes, like I will definitely cover that one.
A malicious motherfucker because we want him to join the
Yeah, no, because Danny, you mentioned that to me before too, and I definitely got to cover that one. But that's a good one. Let's see. All thoughts are to live and understanding true about.
Well, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this is it, guys. I think we're wrapping it up.
Let's wrap it up. All hail to Odin and the Trident and Zeus. So we'll move forward. Let's go ahead and let's do. Well, did you know, Glenn, as a Christian, that Zeus was a Greek god? In the mythology, and that if you go back far enough, Jesus's name was Jesus, which was short for "Hail Zeus."
That's a really bad dad joke. That's a really bad dad joke. We need to work on the dad joke.
But it is true. It's a mistranslation, but of course, Yeshua. Let's be real, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's real.
I expect that from a Viking.
Who's wearing the oath ring, brother? My son, master at arms. Let's call it a day.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Well, stay tuned to the next one. We might do another random, live Trident episode.
Good.
Yeah. And but Thor, what you got coming up this week? Are you doing any more? You've been doing a lot more pre-records and dropping in some, new, videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do some shorts. I did one on the only thing you'll ever need, and the only one secret you should ever use for success in your life. If you haven't seen that, you need to go look at it because it's absolutely true. So these are just ones that I did when I was driving. I haven't done those before because of doing them off the cuff. Sometimes I'm not sure I tackle them the way I really want to, but I'm pinched for time. So I'm trying to throw a few of those here and there, Glenn, and get used to doing that. And I just got the equipment in to do it. So hopefully that'll be good. We'll
Nice.
see. We'll see. We'll see.
Nice.
We're a little bit time pinched next week, so we might not see one next week, but it's coming up.
Nice. I got a few in the can that I'm, working on, finalizing. So you guys stay tuned. I'm going to be dropping some new stuff. There is really no drama going on right now since I've already taken out all the drama. I've already said all my piece about the drama in the space. So I have no new calling out names or correction videos as of yet. But I might. Oh, well, welcome to the swamp. No, I'm kidding. Welcome to the Trident. And you can catch us on Saturday mornings or around 11 in the morning on Saturdays if you're in California, on the Dragon Ship. And so yeah, you get us two times a day. Some of you guys are lucky. But yeah, stay tuned for some of the stuff I got coming out. Some of it's gonna be interesting. I'm working on some more Christianese side of things with Red Pill. And that's taking me a little longer, but
Maybe we should collaborate. I'll do the pagan side and you can do the
totally down.
The crossover, right?
See where they cross over.
Thank you, Star. Appreciate that. You can look for me and Glenn also to get out on the bikes here in Southern Cal as soon as weather's a little bit.
When there's
we
time
gotta do a ride, dude. We gotta do a ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Soon.
Definitely. Well, all right, guys, we're out of here. Take it easy.
Right.
Call out different Rule Zero guys as a roast. Oh, you want me to roast Rule Zero guys? Oh my god, man, are you trying to not get me not voted
He's
on
on the roster to get in, so
I can't do it yet.
He'll be able to talk the shit soon.
All right, guys.
Skull.